Good morning, my vet bro militia. How is everybody doing out there today? It's DEELOW the Vet Bro here coming to you with a new Vet Bro Reacts. So, with that being said, today we will see if we find any more violations or violators of our high standards, which makes these weak new service members scream Vet Bro every time they hear us call them out. And don't get it twisted. We got some vet broads out there too. Shout out to the vet broads, the keepers of the high standards. Again, welcome to a new episode of DEELOW the Vet Bro Reacts. And so check it out, man. If this is your first time coming here, I don't normally sound like this. All right. I am fucking sick. Like literally, I am hurting right now. I don't know why, but I know I have a huge migraine going on. I get migraines. Make sure if you're a veteran or you're getting ready to get out, make sure you put those on there and get them service connected. Get those migraines in there, baby. You get them up to 50% compensation. Just saying, or 30%, no, 50%. One of the two, 30 or 50. Anyway, make sure you get those in there. With that being said, man, welcome. If this is your first time here, smash that subscribe button, man. Thank you for coming over here. If you dig what I'm saying out here, do me a solid and hit that thumbs up. If you don't dig it, give me a thumbs down. At the end of the day, though, what I would like for you to do is to go hit me up with some comments in there. Let me know what I'm doing wrong, doing right, what I could do better. All right. On the last episode, which I did was word on the streets. That was the one that I'm branching out to the civilian sector with. You know, I had people hit me up like telling me, you know, you missed this, you missed that, and I appreciate that. You know what I mean? So that helps me get better, as well as it gives the YouTube algorithm a notice of like, hey, people are actually interacting with this dude. You know what I mean? And that's what I need, y'all. That's what I need. Hey, look, I keep it 100% here with y'all all the time. I don't do gimmicks. I don't pretend to be something I'm not. I am a veteran. I am called a vet bro because I have high standards and I talk crap like women shouldn't be on the gun line. All right. But you know, before I lose you on that, make sure hit me up and ask me why. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, you know, just because I don't want them on the gun line doesn't mean that I don't respect the ones that are there now. You know what I'm saying? Anywho, that's nor here nor there. I'm rambling on because again, I am hurting. Now check it out. I promised on my last episode. Well, I just did an episode with my homeboy Urena. We did a shoot the shit episode on the podcast. So if you guys haven't checked that one out, do me a solid. Go check out that podcast with me and Urena. It's episode 303 over at the On the Gunline podcast. Same channel, just a different wing of it, I guess you could say, because I'm branching out. Like I said, I got two different playlists. One is DEELOW the Vet Bro, the other is Word on the Streets, and then there's the original On the Gunline podcast. Anywho, again, I apologize for the way I sound. And for those of you who are wondering why I have a weird ass picture of three dudes behind me, well, when I first started doing the Vet Bro Reacts, I was gonna have pictures in the background of my past in the military, and those keepers of high standards. And those three gentlemen right there were definitely. Oh, and I was going to tell you a story about this, or a background of the. Damn, I have a bad headache, y'all. A background around the picture. So I can't remember exactly when this picture was taken. I know it was in 2010, and we were in Mosul. All right, we were out there, and one of the missions that we had was working what was called the PRT. That's the Provincial Reconstruction Team or something like that. And anyways, what we would do is we would take people from the State Department to go and check out little areas out there in the outskirts, either way close to the goddamn Syrian border, or right there within Nineveh, which is Mosul, the Mosul area, and try not to get blown up, and show them a good time and take them to go do what they considered or called atmospherics. I hated atmospherics. Anywho, but those three fine gentlemen back there, starting from, if you can see my hand and the pencil, shite. All right, the big dude that's throwing up the peace sign. All right, that was at that time Specialist Weidman, maybe Sergeant Weidman by then. Definitely one of the coolest dudes I ever met in my life. One of the best gentlemen and soldiers that I had the privilege of working with and calling a brother. You know, that man right there. Last I saw, he was a sergeant first class, which was great to see that because he by far was the most calm, cool, collected, but professional soldier there was out there. He was a homie. I'm hoping he's still doing great things. And I wouldn't doubt that, he's got his 3 up and 3 down with the diamond in the middle. I would not doubt that. I know he will make a great first sergeant and take care of his soldiers. So shout out Weidman. Then in the middle right there is my homeboy. That's Martinez. We call him Easy. Martinez right there. When I met him, he was still a E4. By this time, I think he was an E6. Martinez was definitely one of those dudes that will make you laugh, bro. That dude was funny as hell, out of Georgia. And I love the dude, man. I can't say anything negative about him. He was a great leader as well. He took care of his soldiers. He was into health while we were out there, like, getting swole. Him and Flo would get swole out there, man. That fool was be eating like fish all the time. Anyways, but that was the homie right there. One of the times that we got hit, there was this one mission that we were on that he was in the last truck. He was the NCO for that MRAP. And what ended up happening was they got hit with RKG-3 grenade. The gunner who was up there fell down. He got hit with the shrapnel too as well. But rather than getting up and taking care of business as he should have, he started crying and asking for his mama. I get it. It happens. Whatever. I'm gonna leave that as it is. I'm not even gonna give out his name because I've said it a couple of times, but it is what it is. And then, but Easy right there, what he ended up doing, he moved that motherfucking crybaby bitch out of the way and jumped up in that motherfucking into that cupola with the 240 and started doing his thing up there, looking for whoever had thrown that RKG-3 and to put in some work. Unfortunately, by that time, the dude that had chucked that RKG-3 grenade had already took off running. And I'm just gonna say that if that gunner that was up there initially was doing his job, more than likely he wouldn't have gotten hit. Crazy thing about when Easy during this mission that I'm talking about, he actually got hit with shrapnel as well. He caught his Purple Heart that day. And yeah, man, that RKG-3 slug went right in front of him. Could have blown his motherfucking head off, yo. Anywho, that's another story for another day. Shout out Easy. Love you, pimping. I still keep in touch with him. And maybe hopefully one day we'll get you on the podcast, brother. I'd love to see you on here. Same thing with Weidman. And last but not least, the homie over here. That is good old Sergeant Suber. Last I saw Sergeant Suber, I saw him on one of the 13 Bravo reactions that I did. I think one of the first reactions, the second reactions that I did. He was on there. I don't know if he was an AIT instructor or what, but it was great to see old Suber on there. That's the homie from Mississippi. That fool has some flow skills too. He could rap. This is back when we were in 3rd ID, though. Rocket of Marne, by the way. Fort Stewart, Georgia. We were in 19 Field Artillery. And last but not least, there is a young man. Ooh, who's that sexy beast right there? Damn, who that sexy beast right there? Right there. That's the sexy beast right there. But before I go to me, Sergeant Suber was a good leader as well. He was actually in a different platoon. I think we were probably doing like one of those joint platoon missions. I can't remember, bro, to be honest. But Sergeant Suber was also another great NCO. Last I saw, he was still in. Don't know if he's still in or not. but I know that he's doing his thing out there. Sergeant Sewer, if not, you got a rap career after the military. Hope to see nothing but great things from you, man. Keep on keeping on. And again, these three cats right here would probably have been considered nowadays toxic leaders, um, which I'm sure they evolve with the times. I'm sure of it. But I know that they still hold high standards. Those two for sure that are, I mean, if they're still in, and Easy, if he would have stayed in, another one that would have had high standards. You know what I'm saying? So, anywho, with that being said, let's go ahead and Charlie Mike here with this sexy beast right there. Look at that. Shao. God, I think I was weighing like maybe 185, 190. I was hitting the gym too, trying to get my little swole on. Damn, I was sexy as fuck. I still look good though, don't I? Mwah. All right. Hey, enough of that. Let's go ahead and keep on keeping on here, y'all. I owe y'all a video for Mandatory Fun Day. I had said that I was going to do a Mandatory Fun Day reaction video regarding the senior enlisted going to talk to Congress and whatnot. However, I ended up running into a Nikki MGTV video that says military recruiting crisis hits new desperation? Question mark. And I want to know what he's talking about. So without further ado, I'm going to do what somebody told me in my Ben Shapiro reaction on the word on the streets. And I have not looked at this at all. Nothing at all. So we're going to go ahead. It's 10 minutes long. I've already been talking for 11 minutes. If you're still here with me, I appreciate you. Let's go ahead and give y'all that DEELOW the VETBRO reaction about what Nikki MGTV. I'll go ahead and at or whatever it is to plug them in here. Shit, now I got to figure out the time on this. I don't even know. 11 minutes and 53 seconds. I'll put it up there somewhere, or I'll just put it in the description because I suck at this crap. There's a reason I was a 13 Bravo and not a 13 Delta. Anywho, let's go ahead and keep on going. I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize once again for my sickness. Anywho, that's Nikki there from MGTV. From what I remember, he's a sailor. I've been watching some of his stuff here and there, and he's a sailor, so that's why he's got that funny little mustache. I've always thought it was creepy with people that have mustaches like that. I mean, unless you're from the hood and you're an essay and you got that brocha, but you probably don't know about that anyway. With that being said, let's go ahead and see what Nikki at MGTV has to say. You know what? Let me double tap, make sure that I'm sharing it correctly. Because sometimes I be messing up and I don't share the daggone, what's that shit called? The audio. And it fucks it all up, y'all. There we go. Audio, share. And here we go.
As a channel that has covered the recruiting crisis in a very in-depth.
Are we going to start with this bullshit already now? Look, y'all, I don't know why I'm experiencing these. You know what? I know what it is. I think I got my Facebook tab open on the other one because I had to go download that damn picture in my background. Let me go ahead and try it out now. Ándale, cabrón. Andes con mamadas, güey. There we go.
Every step of the way, I believe every time I've said how
I'm really gonna get pissed off because I'm Ethernet.
How much further can this go until we have something like a drought, for example? And I think we are coming closer to that because the Vice Admiral of Navy Personnel has just released saying that essentially, or truthfully and factually, you do not need a high school diploma or a GED in order to come into the U.S. Navy. Now, he has a whole tweet about this. I don't want to twist his words. These are some of the things he's had to say about that. Admiral Cheeseman, Vice Admiral, by the way, Rick Cheeseman says, 1 out of 3, I updated the U.S. Navy.
Okay. While this thing is doing its little upload issue here, they said that they don't need a GED or a high school diploma. That's awesome, bro. You should at least need a GED, I would think. At least a GED. That's not hard to get. But I mean, then again, if you could pass that ASVAB, oh, why not? Some people just are not school bound people, y'all.
Recruiting policy to allow candidates with AFQT, aka ASVAB scores of 50 or higher who do not have a high school diploma or GED to enlist, opening another pathway towards enlistment. This expands the Navy's pool of applicants, attracts talents from across the nation.
Check it. I, as a GED holder, good enough diploma, baby, all the way, I needed to score 50 or above in order to join the Army. The Marine Corps told me to go fuck myself pretty much. Go figure. And all I wanted to do was be a fucking tanker. Anywho, I think this is good. This is good. You know, people say that they're dropping the standards. No, they're not. They're opening the pool to some folks that are just not schooling people, y'all. I'm telling you, there's some of us that are just not school people. We're not college material. All right. Some of us just want to go ahead, join the military, make a career out of it. You know, whether it's fucking busting rust on a goddamn chain or whatever the hell they do in the Navy, I don't know. You know, I don't know what they do with each other either inside those berthings as they call it. But at the end of the day, if they're gonna serve, let them serve, yo. Eventually they are gonna have to go to do some schooling though if they do want to progress within rank. Obviously, you have to do at least in the Army. You know, you had back in the day, you had PLDC slash WLC slash whatever it's called now, which was your first introduction to being a leader and, you know, a leadership course. And then from there, you had BNOC phase 1 and 2, which then got turned into ALC, which I don't know why, because BNOC phase 1 was all admin. And then BNOC phase 2 was all your MOS specific. I don't know why they changed that, but hey, bigger people in higher areas know what they're doing, I guess, which was garbage anyway. It used to be a nice beer knock school, as they called it. Then you had ALS. Wait. From there you had ANOC, but they changed it by the time I went. There was a senior leaders course. And inside senior leaders course, they threw in like 1 week first sergeant training shit. So I did, those were the schoolings that I did. And I guess after that, they did a master's leadership course. I don't fucking know. Anywho, you will need to go to those military programs in order to advance, which I mean, they're easy. You show up and you do your work. It's all, I mean, the hardest part for anybody that doesn't have a high school or GED or college is going to be writing the essays. That's it. You know, so anyway, I'm talking too much. Let's continue.
His next tweet here says,
wait, this fool's name is Cheeseman? Admiral Cheeseman. I think he's a snitch. I don't know.
2 out of 3. This policy change is estimated to gain approximately 500 additional enlisted candidates. We have an incredible team of recruiters focused on attracting the best quality candidates to the Navy to sustain America's maritime strength nationwide. And 3 out of 3, his final tweet says, we have previously turned away future sailors with qualifying AFQT or ASVAB scores because they didn't have a high school diploma or GED. Everyone qualified to serve deserves a chance to serve. Now, what is quite interesting for
Facts, I
me on
agree.
this is we're talking about the U.S. Navy, where many people would say, isn't that one of the easier branches that would have an easier time to meet their mission to recruit people? For example, the Air Force and Navy are seen as possibly some of these safer branches, and I hate using that word. A lot of you would laugh at that.
Bro, it's the safer. Y'all know it is. Stop it.
As well, because there's so much diversity of the military, especially the Navy, as you have corpsmen and things like that that can go to combat or people that are on ships, and those jobs do vary. But there is more context from officials that have come out to clarify what Vice Admiral Cheeseman has had to say here. According to Navy Times, it says federal law allows the military to recruit such applicants, and the Navy last allowed those without a diploma to enlist in 2000, according to CNP officials. To date, the Navy is the only military branch currently seeking to recruit those without a high school diploma or GED as it works to expand the number of eligible candidates to join the service amid an historically
challenging recruiting environment. 100%, man. Look, there's nothing wrong. If they can pass your ASVAB, dude, so what? Let them handle their business. Let them join. You know, I say even throw in there some people with look, I might be a little biased on this because I was one of those that when the war kicked off, in '03, I went to the recruiter, because somebody that I knew that had a similar background and past as I did was given the opportunity to serve our country. All right. I was a dental assistant before I joined the army, and I was living in Miami. I had moved from LA to Miami, and the war kicked off. And I only had a GED, but I had a felony. Yeah. So the felony was for grand theft, and since it wasn't a violent crime of that sort, they gave me an opportunity to still join. Now, there were some stipulations that I had to do some other things onto my body. Let's just say there were some tattoos that were on my body that would have permanently disqualified me, according to what I was told by the recruiter. So I had to get those covered up. But so I did my part and they got me in. It took a year because I went in November of '03 to enlist, and I finally was able to enlist and leave for ship off for basic in November of '04. So, anyways, what I'm saying is there's people out there, there's definitely a candidate pool out there, whether they have a stain in their background. We all make mistakes. Lift that up, and I guarantee you that some of these kids, especially out in the inner cities, I'll put it to you like this: kids out there in the inner cities, out in like in LA, that are like at risk youth, like gang members and stuff like that, they will make some of the best soldiers or sailors that you will ever have. Here's a perfect example of one right here. Essay to Master Hefe. If you haven't seen him or his, if you haven't read this book, you need to go see the Raul Ramos story, Essay to Master Hefe. Go read this book. Only reason I shouted out is because him and I had so many similarities. Or you know what? Let me take that back. I saw myself in this man. All right. A lot of the stories, he grew up in the same area that I did, and he was able to make that change or leap into the military sooner than I did. You know what I mean? And he was able to make it to the most senior rank for enlisted men in the Navy. Funny that we're talking about the Navy right now. Anywho, so yeah, hey, handle that business, baby.
challenging recruiting environment. The Navy said the policy change does not mean the service is lowering its standards, and these prospective sailors must still qualify for a specific rating based on their armed services vocational aptitude battery or
Mm-hmm.
ASVAB blind scores. When they say rating, they mean their job. Now, one thing they have not discussed with everything I've looked at is, if you guys don't remember, only a couple months ago, we were talking about how the ASVAB score for people that did have a GED or did have a high school diploma could be as low as a 10 if they could meet specific job
Oh
requirements to
Jesus.
do a specific job. So there is some disparity of the 10 to 50. So if you just pass high school, your chance of joining the military.
Okay, bro. If you get a 10 on the ASVAB, that means you fucking got your name right. Honestly, you got your name right on there. Now, I think that's sometimes you got to have a limit somewhere, bro. You got to you look, yeah, I'm a hater of low standards, right? But I'm talking about standards as far as like your work ethic in the military and how you carry yourselves. We don't need some people that are require a dummy waiver. All right. I seen many in the army. Honestly, there was this. I still remember this one joker I saw in Mosul, and I wondered how he slipped through the cracks. There's no way that this gentleman should have been in the army unless he was going to just be needed for manual labor. Honestly, because he was not the brightest. Okay, good person. He seemed like a very genuine person, but he was maybe, I would say, less than Forrest Gump. I'll say that.
Is much easier. If you didn't, you still have to get that 50 ASVAB, which for some people can be quite hard. There have been several recruiters that I've talked to personally and people across social media that have
It
said that there
took
are
me a second.
tons of people that have gone to college that have not been able to obtain that 50 required score. And that's when it was at 50. So essentially, the value or the education obtained from a college degree is not even meeting with what would be expected for somebody coming out of high school to join the U.S. military. The Navy went on to say sailors who enlist under this policy change can achieve personal and professional growth by earning their GED while gaining experience in cutting edge technologies and learning professional skills that allow them to exceed their expectations while serving in the Navy. The
Hmm.
policy change is another pathway of opportunity for previously excluded individuals to serve and could result in 500 to 2,000 extra sailors signing up each year, according to the Sea Service. And
There you go. I mean, why would you not open this sector up? I mean, dude, we're not getting these guys to go be like, some kind of special operations or do freaking mathematical solutions. A lot of these guys are going to be your freaking, I'm sure that the Navy needs people who do, I mean, what do they call it? Like boatswains, mates, or whatever, something like that. I think that's like the lowest of the low. That's all you need to be, bro. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. They're gonna do the job that needs to get done. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't make them any less of a reputable soldier or sailor. They're doing the work that others aren't gonna do that have a degree or that have a high school diploma or have a secret clearance, for example. You know what I'm saying? And this is taking a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. My bad, y'all.
there is a lot of criticism that's come with this from so many different angles of quality control, of cost, of retention, of like we could go through all this and I feel like everybody could rain down on fire of why this is a bad idea, but there's a lot of silver lining from old heads that are talking. There's also a lot of people that are very optimistic, but also Admiral Cheeseman has contested some of those views and ideas. And he says this: Brock Briggs challenged him and says, how is lowering the general aptitude requirements for the entire Navy worthwhile to gain an additional 500 people? There was 340,000 plus active duty sailors in 2022. What kind of message does lowering standards send to those prospective enlisted? People
Prospective, by the way.
want to be part of elite organizations with high requirements, earning the right to be there. USMC recruiting numbers attest that. When I left the Navy, I promised I'd never say back in my Navy, but news like this makes it hard. I want to see our Navy flourish more than anything
Welcome to the Vet Bro Militia, baby.
in the world, but perpetual bar lowering attracts more ways to crawl under. Admiral Cheeseman wrote back, risk of being mitigated by the AFQT ASVAB score of 50 or above. The AFQT score is an associated line score noted for any rating is the biggest indicator for future success in the Navy. And to give some of that silver lining, because history does repeat itself, I do believe that to be the case. There are some retired people that have made higher ranks that have actually been able to talk about their success stories from
Hmm.
this. I feel like it is appropriate to share that if we're going to discuss this as a
Facts.
360-degree entirety. Gregory Warman wrote, I came in as a non-high school graduate in 1999, no GED either, retired 24 years, 8 months later as a senior chief with a bachelor's. I
Bam.
dropped out of high school and was going nowhere fast. I did have to receive my GED within my first enlistment in order to re-enlist.
Mm.
Deep Bruce, he wrote, this isn't the first time. I enlisted in 1989 without a diploma or GED. Some people have circumstances that aren't apparent at first glance. I
Hmm.
scored a 97 on the ASVAB at the time and have gotten my BS, and I am an E9 master's
Damn.
equivalent. Not every high school dropout is a S bag.
Facts. He just put it out there, bro. Everything I've been saying, no matter what your civilian life is going to change once you join the military. And, a lot of fools that don't, not that they don't have a chance in the civilian sector, but that a lot of fools that go in there kind of like not almost as a last ditch effort, but they end up making some of the best service members, because honestly, they're going to give you 100%. What they lack out in the civilian sector is what they're receiving in the military: discipline. They're receiving structure. They're looking for that brotherhood. They're looking for that camaraderie, and they're gonna find it there. And it's not that they don't get out for fear of not finding anything out in the civilian sector. It's just that they enjoy the lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Moving on.
I do believe that standardized testing is not always the greatest indicator of whether someone's going to succeed or not. And we know that's been implicit in high school diploma achievements and things like that as well. There is grit, hard work, determination. As
Facts.
somebody myself, I graduated with a 2.0 GPA, graduated with my master's with a 3.7. That's not a brag. That's me just saying, like,
That's
I
a
was able to
flex, baby.
twist my
Don't trip.
perspective,
You flexing,
apply
baby. It's all
myself,
good.
use the skills the Navy gave me in
Mm-hmm.
order to actually achieve more, because it opened the door and showed me what I could achieve if I were to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
But I still do have criticisms of this. And my final reference point for this will be this comment, because I will tie that into my comments of my assessment of this right here. Solo Hobo says, well, it actually is. The Navy is overlooking its own data in an effort to shore up its lagging recruiting numbers. The reason the Navy had restrictions on GED and non grad applicants in the first place had to do with these groups having very high training attrition rates and statistically lower chance of completing their first enlistment. I'm not saying this to be a D. This policy has been around for years based on data. This is throwing bodies at the problem and hoping they stick. I'm all for giving people a chance, but there can be a lot of second and third order negatives coming from band aid policies. Lots of wasted time and money are about to just make things worse for people out in the fleet. Drafts and lowering standards leads to people entering, not all people in this group, that shouldn't be in, and we all hear about it on here, and bad people staying and promoting because good sailors leave. This will be a source of that problem in a couple years, and even before lowers our standards, we have exactly been killing it when it comes to senior leadership. This might help in the immediate, but it's going to create a long term talent problem and tie up resources and time that likely will make things worse in the long term. I
Before homie goes off on his what he ever's gonna say, I'll say this. Look, man, I get it that that you might have a little more less faith. A little more less faith. Anyway, you might have less faith in somebody that to potentially fulfill their enlistment, or because they're knuckleheads or whatnot. But I mean, they open the doors for, what, I'm gonna stop right there, because if I don't, it's gonna go south. I'll say this. Look, man, give them a chance. Give them a chance. Y'all say that everybody deserves a chance, right? You know, you got people that are out there chopping their damn woodies off while they're in service, taking away from the force. You know what I'm saying? While they're in uniform, but they can't do their jobs because they're on pills or surgical crap and stuff like that. I mean, put these guys in there too. Let them have a chance at succeeding. All right. At least they're gonna be adding to the lethality and not taking away. Just saying. Yeah, I know I'm reaching, but that's what was going in my head. I want to say more about it, but I'm not. I'm gonna let homie talk. It's his video.
have seen over the years, in my own belief, or maybe I'm just getting more tired of it, that the bar has slowly gone down in my experience. That's just
All right, homie, check this out, bro. You got a 2.0. That means you had a C average, all right? Cool. Check it. I had a 2.0 when I was in 7th or 8th grade. That was about the last time I stopped caring about grades, because I made it to the 9th grade, which was the last grade I completed. 10th grade, I dropped out. I had a GED. And like you said, bro, you were afforded that opportunity, right? So don't act like they didn't drop the bar, because if there's a reason you went Navy, right? There's a reason you went Navy.
my anecdotal thing, okay? However, I will do whatever I can if somebody comes to my doorstep to try and bring them up. And I understand that there is willpower if I see that. And that is the charge of leadership to be able to do that and recognize
Facts.
people that are actually trying. It does appear, according to the numbers, that they've missed by about 7,000 people that they are looking to join. They were expecting about 37,000, but 30,000 came in. So the 2,000 max that they're expecting from the non-GED, non-high school diploma is going to be quite minimal to chip at that bucket and to try and get those numbers and meet their goals. I would say this is scraping the bucket, if anything. But the real
Damn, bro, come on, man. Like, now I'm feeling offended on this shit. What do you mean scraping the bottom of the bucket? Why? Because they're trying to give people the opportunity to succeed. Come on, homie. Just because they don't have a GED or they don't have a high school diploma doesn't necessarily make them trash. You know what I'm saying? Scraping to the bottom of the bucket. Come on now, dog. Really?
Real issue here that nobody wants to talk about. And for some reason, nobody wants to talk to Congress about it and say, this is the true issue, is because of Genesis. This is a medical system which has flagged people for prior issues, ADHD,
Mm.
broken bones, whatever else, which is great. You as a taxpayer is like, that's what they should have been doing. However, throughout the years, all the healthcare system was not talking to one another. And essentially, you could slip through the cracks and just lie. When you enter the service and you say you have a clean bill of health and you leave, you get a final physical with the physician that says, my knees hurt, my back
Hmm.
hurts, my X, Y, and Z. And then that leads you to being in part of the Veteran Affairs disability system, which means the government will have to pay you and compensate for those things that are out there. And that is very pricey and very expensive. And I would say, go figure, people are expensive. This is what it costs. Manpower and putting money back into the people is going to be the biggest thing. But still, we look at this as how many planes, how many ships, how many X, Y, or Z's that we need to buy that are operational requirements that could be used for that versus having it towards.
All right, I gotta say because it's bothering me right now. This medical shit, 100% is a disqualifier for a lot of kids that are trying to come in because the parents put them on drugs simply for acting like fucking kids. All right. Simply because a kid was acting out, or, they were hyper, they started putting them on fucking drugs. Oh, I'm depressed. I need drugs. Bitch, what you know about depression at the age of 9 or 10 years old? No, that's my generation's fault for overcorrecting a problem. You know, we fucked that one up. We fucked that one up. And that's why I'm trying my best to keep my kids off these goddamn pills because just like the VA, the US government wants to just throw pills at everything. Throw pills, throw pills, throw pills. Instead of letting parents be parents. And some of you parents out there need to stop trying to be fucking psychologists or friends with your fucking kids because then they end up as weak little motherfucking monsters who, you know what? Let me stop. I'm going on a different rant.
Healthcare and towards these people. But that is how I've broken this down. I'd love to see what you guys think about these changes of recruiting because we have gone up to $75,000 in bonus. We have lowered the standards as far as the testing requirements go. We've lowered the GED and high school stuff going on. I mean, there's just so many things that are happening. I'm like, I hope there's not a draft at one point because that would make the job much harder for people that are already in because it's hard to get people to want to learn something if they're being forced to do it. But as always, if you guys like what I cover here on the channel, leave a comment down below talking about what do you think about this recruiting because that's where the dialogue continues. But as always, if you like what I cover here on the channel, hit me over on Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, all the other stuff. I'd appreciate it. I can't say it today. I don't know what's going on in my brain, but I love you guys. See you next.
All right. Hey, check it out, man. Shout out to the homie Nikki, bro. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna see eye to eye with him on this shit right here because honestly, I'm one of those bottom of the barrels. Then, if that's the case, because I had a felony and I was still able to join. I have a GED, I was still able to join. And you know what? Hell, I caught an Article 15 within my first enlistment. But guess what? I still made staff sergeant in 4 years. I made E5 in 3 years, E6 in 4 years. And I came in as an E fucking one, bro. All right. So what's that say? Um, yeah, I may had a hiccup or two, but don't judge or call people bottom of the barrel because they're being given an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? It's the fucking Navy, bro. It's the fucking Navy. They're not going over there to launch Tomahawk missiles. They're gonna be up there probably, painting the outside of the fucking boat. All right. Let's be realistic about this shit. Now, I don't know all about the freaking Navy MOSs. For that, I'll have to get with the homeboy Adam from Sea Stories. And if y'all don't know who that is, go check out Sea Stories podcast. He's a homie Adam. He was a Tomahawk missile guy. And he's got a podcast out there similar to mine. Anywho, this went from reaction to me getting a little pissed off and going off topic. Anywho, Hey, let me know what y'all think. Shout out to the homeboy Nikki from MGTV. I'll put that shit in the description where he's his stuff. Not that he needs my publication because that motherfucker has way more than I do. Anywho, with that being said, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed this Vet Bro reaction. It went 40 minutes long. My apologies. It's supposed to be quick reactions, but this is what happens when I'm looking at things and just get sucked in. Fucking Nikki, you sucked me in like a goddamn mama san out in Korea. All right, with that being said, DEELOW the Vet Bro, letting you go. I'll catch y'all on the next episode of DEELOW the Vet Bro Reacts on Tuesdays and Thursdays, by the way. Deuces, y'all. If I find how to turn this shit off.